Hi, I'm Joanne, the Student Curatorial Assistant for Asian Artwork at the Allen Memorial Art Museum. As I've been studying East Asian artworks, I've come to really appreciate the different landscape traditions. And today we'll be exploring one tradition in particular. It's called the Eight Views. Imagine capturing a place not just as a location, but as a perfect moment in time. That's the essence of the Eight Views tradition. Each view is a precise combination: the right place, the right time of day, the right season, and the right atmosphere. The tradition began in 11th century China with the Xiaoxiang Eight Views, and was later adopted by Korea and Japan. It then evolved into two intertwined traditions: the Eight Views in art, where artists immortalize these ephemeral moments, and the Eight Views in real life, actual locations where people could visit. Beyond its aesthetic value, the Eight Views tradition highlights the deep ecological and cultural connections in East Asia. By capturing atmospheric moments like night rain, descending geese, or temple bells, these works convey a profound understanding of nature's rhythms and cycles. Even today, regions across East Asia continue to designate their own Eight Views. So inspired by this, I decided to ask a few students, what are the Eight Views of Oberlin? Let's take a look at what they said.
Mic on! Okay, so we're inside of this really beautiful tree outside the Candor Theater at Oberlin. I'm sure you can see a little bit from here, but the light when it goes through this tree is just very beautiful. And then also it's just a nice place where you can kind of step into it and feel very relaxed and at peace and connect with nature. The tree itself has been here a long time, so it's seen a lot of Oberlin, and it's also just has a lot of history behind it. More than that, it's just a very, I think, special tree. And so it just lets you have a space where you can kind of be with the tree. Yeah. Well, when the light goes through the tree, it also reflects on the ground. So it is like you're entering this big web of just light and space. The green is obviously very pretty against the light. The twigs of the trees are very nice too. I mean, it's maintained obviously because it is like a tree on campus. It does kind of just like spread out. Well, I feel very at peace in a minute. I feel very outside of myself, which is a very good thing to feel. I think especially when you're in your own head a lot, it's nice to like get outside and remember that the world is bigger than you are. And I have good memories because my friends and I hang out here sometimes and we play cards, and so it is like a very special tree. Yeah.
This is the Conservatory Koi Pond. It used to be my favorite place on campus. I worked at the conservatory library, and I would come here before my shifts and after my shifts sometimes just to watch the fish. I really enjoyed it because they always thought that I was a friend visiting to give them food, and I never had any food. I just came to stare at them. But they would always come and greet me until they realized I didn't have food for them. But it's one of my favorite places just because it's so beautiful. Really, it's just very aesthetically pleasing to me. Yeah, I think it's a great de-stressor. So like, if I'm stressed out, I can come here. Or if I have time before my shifts, when I used to work here, I would come here. The water, and also just getting to watch the fish swim around, I just think it's just beautiful. I really like the rocks by the pond. And then I kind of like just how the water ripples when the fish swim through it. Obviously, the koi fish themselves are very, very beautiful. Most of them are vibrant orange, and I think that's just super cool. Very, very calm, very serene. I always feel very comfortable here. Because fish don't really do very much, they just swim back and forth. It's nice to not have to focus on everything else that I'm doing, and I can just focus on the fish that are mindlessly going about their business, which is not very much. Swimming around looking for food. I don't know what fish think about. I see a lot of people at the koi pond. Maybe not right now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think it's really beautiful. It's very convenient, and I'm familiar with it probably more than other spots in Oberlin.
We are in the AJLC, which is the Adam Joseph Lewis Center, which is where a lot of our environmental classes are taught, as well as politics classes. I think that it's just like space where I'm like really able to like, I guess, kind of like appreciate the like nature and like outdoors of Oberlin. The pond outside during like the spring and fall is always really gorgeous, and it's kind of like a nice place to just like breathe in. There's like a lot of wildflowers. Earlier in the semester I was able to draw some of them. There's like fish in the pond. It's very like zen, peace kind of vibes. I think like the indoors, like right now it's so cold outside, but it's like a really good temperature and you're like getting all of the sun. So it's like the closest you can get to like a very like temperature controlled outdoors, but it's indoors and it's winter right now, but there's so much green. Isn't that amazing?
We are underneath this lovely, lovely tree that is doing great. It's really flourishing. It's full of life is how I would describe it. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful display of nature. Like every time I'm walking by here, walking through Tappan, I notice this lovely, lovely tree. And I feel like in many ways, this tree represents all of us. The complete lack of any leaves or greenery on the tree, it's very monotone in its color. It's almost like it feels more cylindrical than the other trees in the sense that like each of the branches is a very well-defined shape, whereas with other trees the leaves break up the shape. It's very identifiable. I feel as though I see the tree and I'm like, that's a good tree. I'm glad. It's very interesting because normally when you cut all the leaves and the limbs off a tree, it's very sad, but in this case it looks really cool and I feel like, that's a cool tree. Good tree. It's a nighttime tree. I think it's a nighttime tree, winter tree. If there's snow on it, that'd be good, because it would look a lot different with snow on it than most trees. Because it wouldn't, most trees it really sticks on the leaves and the whole tree is white. But with this one, it's just snow, on the branches. That's it. There's no leaves. Well, like I said, this tree really represents all of us. Sometimes you get a limb or two chopped off, and really you just gotta rock with that. You gotta roll with that. But that doesn't mean you can't be beautiful anymore.
The moon over the forest sea, it's rising directly from a line, like a tree line, far into the distance. And it's an open view, and the moon is gonna stay in that very large open sky for the whole night. And when the stars come out, all the glittering stuff up there, I guess the tranquility is the element of the scene. When it's like super snowy and super cold, and when it's cloudy, it may not be that comfortable spot to visit. But as long as the sky is clear, it is such a beautiful place.
So that captures 5 of the 8 views of Oberlin. What do you think should be the remaining 3? It could be a unique place on campus, a place you study, or anywhere else. All that matters is that it captures an atmospheric moment that speaks to you. And that's all from me. Bye.